Hey, welcome to UltraChenTV. We now have the Tuesday show coming on. Hope you enjoyed Wake Up SRK right before us. This is jchensor.
How's everybody going?
And I'm Ultra David. At the end of Wake Up SRK, Keats and Skisonic unveiled a little fanciness that we've been working on. Well, I haven't been working on it, but other people have been working on it. Very nicely done. Why don't you put this slide up there?
Sure, there you go.
Round Tuesday. See, it's like Tuesday, the name of the week, and also it's like a fighting game reference because of round two.
And we're like rounding up all the shows, right?
Yeah. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, first one is Wake Up SRK. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Pacific time. These are all Pacific times. Then is us at 8 p.m. After that is Cross Counter Live. And after that is the show that sucks with
Hanzo Gonzo and Harrison.
Yeah. So there's a whole now lineup on Tuesday. This is something that we tried to get going, if you recall, when we started doing our stream.
Yes.
Last year, actually. And we and Cross Counter and Wake Up SRK before us all kind of, it was a very informal thing. We were kind of promoting each other. We would say, go watch Cross Counter Live, and Wake Up SRK would say, go watch UltraChenTV. And
we used to call it Talkie Tuesdays.
We called it Talkie Tuesdays, that's right. But, for various reasons, it didn't really last, and we didn't take it too seriously. But this time, we're hoping to make it more of a thing, to have this be like a block of shows that you can watch every Tuesday night. Or Wednesday morning, I guess, depending on where you live.
You're right.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll work out.
Yep. So once again, pretty much, well, let's go back to that really quick. Wake Up SRK, where Keats and Skisonic, they usually talk about some of the issues going on, and they always have a guest on the show to be able to do that.
That's right.
Then there's UltraChen, which is just us, where we just talk about everything and give you our opinion, because, that's all that matters to us, right?
That's all I got anyway.
Cross Counter Lives with Gutex, of course, and he's been always bringing on a lot of guests and getting a lot of interviews about events and such that are coming up. And, of course, the show that sucks with Hanzo Gonzo and Harrison, and they talk about whatever they want in the colorful way that they always do.
Yeah. What did Keats just call it? He just called it something hilarious at the end of their show, like the Carter Gray Hour.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
That's like the best name. I like the name, the show that sucks, but Carter Gray, that's Hanzo Gonzo's real name.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Not a lot of people know that. That's funny, because you got Hanzo Gonzo, trolliest name ever.
Yeah.
Trolliest person ever.
Yeah.
His real name is Carter Gray.
It's the fanciest possible name.
Yeah.
I guess you could have a Chase in there, or something with a well at the end of the name, Gardwell, or
he needs to have the third at the end of it, right?
Maybe he is
Carter
the third.
Gray the
Did you
third.
think about that? Maybe he's the third. You don't know.
Be.
And by the way, he's actually the one who made this slide. To go back to this fancy.
No, actually, Martin Blake made it.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I see. Oh,
yes.
So Carter Gray was trying to pass this off as his own work.
He gave credit to Martin.
Did he? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even see that.
Carter Gray Esquire. There you go. That's
maybe
perfect.
He's got a career in law. You never know.
Yeah, there you go. So, yep. So, Hanzo Gonzo, at first,
even know.
He tried to steal credit for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then, I think, Telltale Heart, he got a little guilty about it.
Yeah. I actually wrote back in the email, hey, man, this is surprisingly good. You made this? And then I guess I didn't see that actually Martin made it.
That's awesome. If he actually taught fighting game strategy, he could be Coach Carter.
That's right, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, that's something that we're going to try to get going. We're going to try to pump it more. We would like, it kind of disadvantages Wake Up SRK a little bit because they tell everybody else about it that day. You know what I mean? It starts with them and then it moves on. So this is something that we would like to have. Not just show up on Tuesday, but kind of be like a general thing that we hope to pump just overall.
Right, and don't forget, guys, obviously, all the times here are Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
Not all the shows, of course, take place on the West Coast, like Wake Up SRK, Keats, and Skisonic are East Coast / Midwest. So, adjust the time as necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, that's the big lead-in, and now we want to actually move on to the show today. So, we want to talk about a couple of main things, I think, today.
Main things? I see what you did there.
I mean, yeah. Yes. going to talk first about, as I'm sure everybody knows, My Little Pony Fighting Is Magic. The game received a cease and desist order from Hasbro not too long ago. And, a lot of people have asked me about this. It just happens to be basically in my wheelhouse when it comes to legal stuff. If you don't know, I'm an attorney, and my area of expertise are video games and intellectual property and entertainment law. Those are like the things that I do for a living. So this is definitely up my alley. Got a lot of questions about it, and I thought that I would talk about it a little bit. What are you getting right now?
I'm trying to get my apology picture to the fans of My Little for Fighting Is Magic. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can put that up for everybody.
I see. So I put a tweet up on UltraChenTV, basically asking if you have any questions, that I can answer in general terms. I want to keep everything kind of general, not necessarily. Ask us in the chat or send us an email at ultrachentv@gmail.com, and I'll try to get to it real soon.
Broke the stream. What happened?
Well, I don't know if you broke it, but the stream broke.
Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. So the stream is still going, but can people hear us, or can they?
No, it's just totally.
It's just hosed.
It's just totally, as you can see, it's just basted.
Right. So we can sit here and make funny faces until we are back. So.
Okay. Are we going here?
Okay. So let's see here. We should be coming up very soon. It's live. And they're back. Some people are saying they're back.
Oh yeah, we back now?
I think some people are saying back. Let me refresh my page so I can see our beautiful faces as well.
Oh yeah, we're on.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right.
So I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we're still horrible at this whole situation.
I guess I cannot try to bring in new assets in the cam twist while we're streaming, because then it blows up or something like that. So, well, I'll figure it out in the future. But yeah.
In any case, I'm not really sure where the stream dropped off, but we were just bringing up the fact that I did want to talk a little bit about My Little Pony Fighting Is Magic, the fighting game, and how it received a cease and desist letter from Hasbro. That's in they released a statement on a website, a post, saying that. Right. So
pretty much all work on Fighting Is Magic has now been halted. So pretty much all the work that they've put into it this whole entire time is gone, and so it kind of sucks, and I feel really bad about that. But I don't know. I mean, like you said, this is more kind of your thing, right?
Yeah.
So
I think the generally known facts are that they've been working on this game for a long time. They've been working on it for a couple of years, in fact, and they've been pretty public about it the whole time, as far as the MLP community goes.
Which is why it makes it odd that the cease and desist letter came up all of a sudden, because they've been pretty loud about it, right? I mean,
we knew about it, right?
They haven't been hiding it, but a lot of people are even saying that it might just have been Evo's fault that it kind of got into the news because of that donation drive, and so everyone kept hearing about it, and so Hasbro was like, whoa, if people can donate this much money for this game, maybe we should not let them make it anymore or something.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I can tell you from experience, just as a general matter, that a lot of companies have this big disconnect between different parts of their company. Between the PR side, the marketing side, and people who deal with the community, people who advertise, all that stuff, and then the legal department.
Right.
They tend to be very separate entities, and oftentimes something that one side knows, maybe the other one doesn't. I've seen that happen a bunch of times.
Okay.
It's not rare at all. Maybe that's the case here, where if your job is to be in advertising or marketing or community relations with Hasbro, I don't know how you could have missed this game. Right? That seems maybe, but it seems unlikely. But if you're in the legal side, it's much more easy to miss, because you're not out there looking at communities all day, you're dealing with things that are relatively boring and just not the same kind of stuff. You're dealing with licensing issues. You're dealing with lawsuits or corporate compliance, stuff like that, employment law, whatever. So they could have missed it. I don't know.
I mean, the weird part to me is that, I don't know, was the game doing anything to hurt them? They weren't making any money off of it. They weren't trying to produce any money. It's giving them good publicity, and a lot of people who were unaware of for example, me, right? I knew nothing about My Little Pony until Fighting is Magic. And I was just like, wait a minute, why do people... Wait, My Little Pony is this 80s thing that I grew up with, you know what I mean? Like, what the heck is going on with this?
Right.
And then all of a sudden I found out it's gotten, like, the update, like Powerpuff Girls kind of thing, and now the popularity of it. I didn't know about all this stuff.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I did. Okay. It was over my head, and so, it brings awareness to a lot of people. So, I mean, to be honest with you, the only thing I can think is that it's because the characters are beating each other up. Mm-hmm. The name of the game is Fighting is Magic, and maybe they don't want to promote this violence, you know what I mean? So
companies can protect their works in a couple of ways in this kind of instance, through trademark law and through copyright law. They cover slightly different things in terms of how those rights can be used to prevent other people from doing stuff with them. But one of the ways is with trademark. If your marks have a certain quality to them, that is to say, if when people see MLP, they think of a certain children's show, or I guess now not necessarily children's show, but a TV show that is, it has a certain character to it. If then somebody puts something out that, tends to make it look different in some light that would cast what they would consider negative light on it, that could be grounds for. This is all totally not the jargon side of it, by the way. I don't want to get into the actual legal terms.
Dude, you should just.
It's cool, man. Then they can take steps to stop that. It's within their rights to stop that.
Right.
That's something that trademark law affords them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing too, is that the main Six crew, when they got the cease and desist letter, they were not angry about it or anything. They're like, well, it happened. Sorry, we can't make this game anymore. Done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they had an inkling that this could happen, right? Everybody has a basic idea of what copyright law is about and what trademark law is about, and how it affords companies who own rights to be able to shut things down. I mean, it's just something that we're familiar with nowadays in living online, right? It's something you see. I know that there have been other games that have been fan-built games that ran into things like people who were trying to redo like Chrono Trigger and stuff. Do you remember hearing about that one? Right? They got shut down.
That's right.
I mean that happens.
There was also another one that I remember that got shut down that a lot of people were really excited about too. I don't remember. It was like someone was making an RPG or like an 8-bit version of something, like one of those
I don't remember.
retro games. I can't remember. Like someone was either making a 8-bit Silent Hill or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember something got shut down like that a lot of people were mad about because it just seemed like a really cool thing to do. So.
I mean, I've certainly heard of it before, so it's something that they must have known. But
the Streets of Rage. The Streets of Rage. That's what it was, actually.
What were they going to do?
They were, like, taking all the Streets of Rages and combining them together. You can use, like, all the characters. They're, like, redoing some of the fights, and then you
That's
have,
pretty nifty.
It was really cool. Yeah,
That's pretty nifty.
And they got rid of that.
So as far as copyright itself goes, that can also be used by Hasbro to defend its material. There are a few different rights that you get when it comes to owning a copyright. You have the exclusive right to do things like reproduce it, that is to say make copies of it, or to hand out those copies, or to make changes to a copy, or to perform it in some way to display it. Along with those comes the right to control all derivative works. That is to say, works that are built off of the first work in some significant way. And that could be across different media. So it could be like a TV show. If somebody wants to make a game out of it, that could be a derivative work.
Right.
And they have the exclusive right to control derivative works. That's one of the basic parts of copyright law. And my guess is that that's what they're doing. It's probably the combination of the trademark thing and the copyright thing, and that that Hasbro, I should say, is taking steps to not allow that anymore.
Right. I mean, it's interesting because obviously you can do something like with satire, right? Isn't there something if you do satire then you can kind of use it?
So parody and satire are some ways to sort of defend. They're really not that practical.
Okay.
They really aren't. It's rare. It's very rare, in fact, that courts will in fact find that something is a real parody. It really is. And fair use, people often point to fair use. Isn't this fair use? They're not making a profit off of it, right? They stated that they didn't want to make a profit off of it. They weren't in it to sell it. They just wanted to make a game. That's one of the factors that goes into fair use. But fair use has this like general 4-part test. It's not a black and white test. That is to say, even if you only run afoul of 2 of the 4 prongs, you could still not be fair use, or you might be fair use. There's the precedent. The precedent in it is horrible. It seems to vary by court, by individual judge sometimes, by decade. I mean, it changes a lot, and it's very difficult to predict.
It's a gray area. It's a trollish gray area, so it should be called a Carter gray area. So anyways, continue on.
Wait, what was I saying?
Yes. I was looking at him lose his train of thought again.
Has that happened before? No.
Success.
I was talking about fair use, right?
Yeah, you were talking about fair use. You were talking about just how it's really hard to determine the 2 prongs and the 4 prongs.
That's one of the problems with fair use, is that it's really hard to know if something really is. But the other problem with it is that the only way you know if something is fair use is if you defend it in court.
Right.
Which means that you have to go through this very expensive and long process of fighting in court. You got to pay an attorney. It takes a long time. It can take many months to several years, depending on how big the case is. And at the end of it, you don't really get anything out of it. Even if you win, you might not even get back the money that you spent on attorneys. Right. And you're definitely not going to get more money, barring some very unusual circumstances on top of that. All you're going to get is a congratulations, you were correct. It has been fair use all along. And now feel free to do exactly what you're doing in the future. Right. But if your goal is to not make money anyway, then it's just going to be this sinkhole of money. You're just not going to be able to recoup anything like a reasonable investment in it. Even if you don't care about the profit side of things, it's not reasonable to lose a ton of money either. Right. So what you see oftentimes in all sorts of media, when it comes to this kind of thing, the very small level, and also the very, very high, big, expensive level, people in creative industries tend to try to stay as far away from anything like this as possible. It's rare. It's only like the rare comedy TV show, basically, that will actually get involved in whether something is actually fair use. Okay. It's led to companies wanting to not make derivative works at all, even if they could get the license because they're worried about things. It's led to them not wanting to risk things that that they would get sued. It's created this weird culture where it's hard to make things in a sense. So it's not really that much of a surprise that that's what would happen here.
Right. Well, I mean, I do want to talk a little bit more about this and bring up some other examples, but let's take a break real quick.
Sure.
And when we come back, we'll continue on this topic about fighting is magic.
All right, welcome back to the Tuesday show on UltraChenTV. We're talking about My Little Pony Fighting is Magic, the fighting game that recently received a cease and desist request by Hasbro, which is the company that owns the rights to My Little Pony.
Right. And, it's really kind of sad because, I was talking about how it just seemed like it was a shame that, Hasbro did this because it was good publicity. I mean, interestingly enough, a lot of people have been angry at companies like Capcom for things recently, but you take a look at what happened with Street Fighter Cross Mega Man, right? That was a fan-made game.
It's true.
And, at the end, Capcom got wind of it, and they actually reached out to help him.
Right.
And in fact, apparently there was like some things that he wanted to do that he couldn't figure out how to do, and they went and helped him with it or something like that. But yeah, so I don't know how much they helped him work with it, but they also, I think, hooked him up with a rival who made the music and such, and so they came out with a really cool project that way, and it's like great publicity for them.
I totally agree. I think that it's absolutely something that companies should be taking more advantage of. But think about it from the lawyer's perspective. Most lawyers are not my age. They're not 29 and younger. They are people who have been in the industry for a long time.
Right.
It's just how it is. It's not even changing that much because of the 40,000 American law graduates every year, only 20,000 get jobs. So don't expect that to change very often. If you have a job in law, you keep it right now. So they're not necessarily connected into the communities. They don't necessarily care about it. They don't necessarily view the internet and all the public participation that it can bring as a good thing. They would rather control their rights in a way that they're used to having done for however long now.
You're making people drop out of law school.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, can't say anything.
Pretty much, yeah. If you didn't know this, it's one of the worst industries to be in the United States.
Currently, so, right?
It currently is, yeah. Wages are being depressed gigantically. People aren't getting jobs. It's just a bad situation. People, I knew people who graduated with $350,000 in debt and couldn't get a job. Good luck. I don't know what you do. So,
jeez.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's where the legal department comes from. And like I said, there's often this disconnect between the legal departments and the people who deal with advertising and marketing and community relations. And they don't run things through each other, except for when they need to. That's again, I don't know this particular case. This is how things generally go. And so when a lawyer sees, when he gets notice that there is a group of people that's using his company's rights in some way that he believes infringes on his company's rights, then he'll just send the cease and desist.
Right.
I mean, you have to go through channels in some cases, but that's mostly within the legal department itself of clearing certain things. But there are, in fact, in many companies, and again, I don't know whether this is the case here, but in many companies, people whose jobs it is to just do that, to just find out about things that are infringing rights and just send off a quick C&D and that's their role. So that's kind of the perspective that you have to be expecting when you're dealing with a big company. So Capcom has had these instances like the one you mentioned, Street Fighter Cross Mega Man, where they have done a good job, and it seems like they're doing a better job in general nowadays, right? They're doing the same thing with fighting games.
Actually, a lot of it is Capcom USA.
That's absolutely right.
Someone pointed that out, that it's more Capcom USA than anything, right?
Absolutely right.
They're doing a great job with that.
I totally agree. But in the past, there have been some issues that Capcom has had too, where they have wanted to shut things down.
Yeah.
I don't even know that there's a public, but
But
let me just say that's happened.
Okay.
And so they're not 100% on this thing either. It's something that takes a while to develop, and something that will, I expect, develop over a long period of time. That is to say, the being okay with what the community is doing with your rights. But right now, it's not.
So, I mean, I guess then the question now comes down to is, what is Main 6's? What are Main 6's options, right? Like, so one option, for example, do a parody. Like, keep the characters in there, but change their names, right? So you have a blue horse named, like, Spectrum Sprint.
That's pretty good.
Right? Okay.
Did you just think of that?
Kind of.
You mulled it over a little bit? Okay, all right.
So, like, you have that, right? So, so you can have Carnation Cake, right? So, like, you can have a pink horse named Carnation Cake. So, like, where do you go? Can they just do that? Or, and then Hasbro couldn't do anything, right?
I mean, maybe. It depends on how drastically they change things. So, certainly one of their options is to... it's good. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Some people said it was down, but it seems like many people are saying it's good now.
Cool.
So, yeah, definitely one of their options is to drastically change things. Mm-hmm. They could make it not a My Little Pony game. Mm-hmm. They could, and still continue to make the game. It could be something totally different that, maybe it's like ogres now or whatever. It's trolls. I don't know. Rather than ponies. Or they could make it like a blatant parody. Something that would be very difficult for Hasbro to argue
Right.
is not a parody. Like I said, you typically want to ignore that option.
Okay.
That's something that is just rare because, again, Hasbro can sue you. You know, people often ask, can somebody sue in this situation? The answer is almost always, yeah, you can sue.
So even with a parody, even with an obvious parody, they could sue you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But the question is whether the lawsuit will win. That's the difference. So, no, maybe if they made a very obvious parody and Hasbro were to sue them, would Hasbro win? Probably not. But in the meantime, you have to defend yourself with your main 6. Again, it's a very long and expensive process.
Right.
And you have to go through it's an economic calculus is really what it is.
But seriously, we saw what the donation drive was doing. They could pool money.
Maybe they could. Maybe they could.
Do a we pay for, for lawyer fees and such,
Right. I mean, maybe they could. But it's not... Things are set up against people who infringe copyrights. The system is purposely set up to help the people who are the owners of copyrights and to hurt people who might do anything with it.
Right.
So it's an obvious bias intentionally set up into the system like that. So it's just look, maybe they could make a parody, but it's not the best option.
Okay.
Really, what they would probably want to do is look for a license. So basically their options are like stop entirely, give up on the project totally. Continue to make a game, but it's not My Little Pony anymore, which I expect is probably not like what they want to do because
do a
My Little Pony is like a thing.
1/2 Street Combat thing, right? So yeah, let's see how many people get that reference.
No,
anyway.
I didn't. Other than that, they can fight it, which, like I said, is expensive and takes a long time. And even if you win, it's not that great. Or they could look for a license, which is probably the best. So maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened with Capcom versus or Cross Mega Man, Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. I don't know, but that's certainly an option for them. And the terms of that are just whatever they could find.
Basically, it would just come down to what they could charge for license.
You mean what Hasbro could charge? Yeah, I mean maybe Hasbro would charge. Maybe they wouldn't charge. I don't know. That kind of thing depends entirely on the company itself and what the bargaining position is of the people who make the game. All that stuff, that's really hard to know. But, Hasbro can extend them a license. It's a possibility. And I don't know whether it's likely, because I just don't know enough about Hasbro. Right. I don't know enough about how they deal with the community to be able to say. But just as a general matter, it's not easy to get a license. It's not easy to get permission if you are somebody in a community trying to do something. There are all these examples where people write fan fictions and get shut down, or people make video games and get shut down, or make fan episodes, get shut down, fan movies, get shut down. It happens in everything. It happens across all different kinds of media. People make remixes, get shut down. People make mashups, get shut down. Very common, very common. So that's more of the common thing than for the license to actually be granted, unfortunately.
Okay.
So
I mean, I wish Main 6 all the luck. I hope that they can figure out a way to make this work, because they put a lot of work and they worked really hard on the engine. Some people here in the chat who've actually played it were even saying like it was really fun. And it's
I've heard,
that they're getting rid of it and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I totally agree. I mean, I would love it if I feel like somebody in my legal position, like the opposite of somebody in Hasbro's position, because lots of my clients, copyright hurts them. It's not great for them. They would prefer if copyright wasn't a thing, because a lot of what the people who I represent do is things with video games, like showing match videos or playing match videos in a public setting, or using game art on some merchandise. Or
we've talked about that before, that Capcom could at any point in time just like come by and be like, you can't stream Street Fighter 4 ball. And it's gone.
Capcom could kill the community. Namco could kill the Tekken community. All that stuff. All they got to do is exercise their public performance right. And, hey, we do have some arguments on our side at this point. But, like I said, defending yourself from a major copyright action, infringement action is just not easy. It's expensive and it takes a long time, and the benefits of doing it, unless you're pretty sure you're going to make a lot of money out of it afterward, are not really that great. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sad to me because honestly, I feel like the MLP Fighting is Magic was like free advertising for them. But
totally, I totally agree. But that's not necessarily what the issue is.
And like you said, it could just be the lawyer department or something.
Yeah.
Just they're not even thinking along with anybody else.
Right.
So they were just like, wait, someone's using our property.
Yeah, man. Lawyers are like bringing in the military to deal with some local police option. Everything looks like the same. All the problems have the same solution. Mm-hmm. You know, it's something that's drastic. It's drastic action. Mm-hmm. It's not nuanced sort of stuff. That's how lawyers operate in a lot of cases. Right. And, you know, like I said, the default position, there are even some jobs that are explicitly just find out about things that are infringing our rights and shut it down. Okay. Don't give any extra calculus to the situation. I don't know whether that's the situation here, but I know that that's a common thing. Okay. So... some people asked a couple of questions. Let's see. Tony Selby, I kind of addressed the parody thing. Is their product now too close to the source material to be considered parody? Probably.
Yeah, and I mean, they were doing it probably incomplete. I mean, obviously, the main six crew really respects the source material.
Of course.
So the way they were they were making it was probably as faithful and as respectful as possible. So there's no way that it's not like just too simple. I mean, it is the source material, right? I mean, I'm sure all the characters have the personality. Like, I don't know. There's like a. I don't know any of the personalities of the horses.
Don't worry about it, because I don't either.
Okay, but I'm sure, you know, if there was, like, I'll use a Powerpuff Girls reference, right? Like, if there was a, you know, Buttercup kind of person who's more aggressive and angry all the time, then there would be a Rushdown character or something like that. If there was a Bubbles...
That'd be awesome if they did that.
If Bubbles was, like, you know, the cute one, and, you know, there was a lot of, like, you know, more, like, cute kind of a character design and stuff like that. I'm sure that they kind of did stuff like that, so...
So Will Blanton asks, what can EVO 2013 legally do to get a MLP side event at EVO? You know, it's really just about whether Hasbro allows it. That's what it comes down to. Hasbro can, like I said, allow permission. They can grant a license or just permission to Main 6 and say, yeah, you can totally show this off. But it's just up to them. And it's, you know, maybe Main 6 can convince Hasbro to do that. But that's really what the issue is.
The sad news about this, really, honestly, is that if this cease and desist goes through and sticks, then there will be no Fighting is Magic at EVO.
That would be too bad, right?
You won't be able to see it demoed there and anything like that. And it's kind of a shame.
I totally agree. Yeah. You know, I would feel terrible if it were my community. You know, that would suck. I would probably want to play this game. I mean, I've heard about the mechanics. It's always sounded cool.
Yeah, I've heard there's like ground bounces, bounces and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just it sounds amazing.
So. Yeah. And I know that if I knew people who've been working on the game for 2 years and they got shut down, I'd feel terrible for them. So I hope that they can figure a way out of the situation.
I mean, heck, we could even go with the Superbot path, right? We know plenty of people on there, and Superbot was recently shut down. So that's actually
you and I know people in the games industry for sure.
So that was actually sad. So same thing, right? I mean, their game at least got released.
That's true.
But at the same time, it's really kind of sad. So
that's true. Okay, well. I guess that's about it for now. There don't seem to be any more questions that have been sent. Oh, wait, 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Actually, just before we go, this is actually a really interesting email from Christopher. He says, part of why Hasbro might be a bit more aggressive in asserting their trademark and copyright property in MLP is that they lost a ton of trademarks from their 1980s franchises, or in their franchises from back then, like Transformers and My Little Pony. And because of that, when they started trying to bring those franchises back, they ran into a lot of trouble. That makes total sense.
Gotcha,
so they, you know, copyrights don't really lapse.
But reaction, in other words, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, a trademark can lapse over time. It can be abandoned. It can lapse. Copyright, not really the same deal. That lasts for effectively eternity. There is a term where it ends, but it's been extended so many times that it's not reasonable to expect it to even end. So, but as far as trademark, it totally can. So if you're Hasbro, considering this background, I understand why you would want to make sure that you could protect the things that you've made.
Okay.
I get that. I mean, I don't want to come off like I'm against Hasbro.
Oh no,
protecting
they're not doing anything wrong at all.
Yeah, they have absolute legal rights. So
it's a shame, but they haven't done anything wrong, and in fact, they're protecting their own property, which I completely understand. So.
Yep.
Okay, so let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll kind of shift gears and kind of continue a discussion that we were talking about last week about, Twitch Turbo and all this other stuff. So, we'll continue that when we come back.
Hey, okay, cool. Yeah, Round Tuesday. That's what I'm talking about.
Round Tuesday.
I think that's nice.
Tuesday. Fight.
Ooh, you want to record yourself doing that?
Dude, I totally should.
I mean, yeah, it's a great idea. You're the best voiceover artist. Yeah, that's right. Look sad. So we did talk about Twitch Turbo a lot last week. That was one of the main topics of conversation. Twitch Turbo, if you don't know, is a new subscription service that the Twitch.tv streaming company is using, this very streaming company that you're watching us on right now, provided that you're not watching on YouTube. They now offer the ability to pay them $8.99 US dollars per month, and for that you will get a host of good things, like the ability to not see ads, to use special emoticons, to have your words that you type in the chat show up in a different color, to be able to use emoticons from channels that you subscribe to anywhere on the site, not just on those individual channels. I feel like I'm missing something. But in any case, there are these benefits for doing it, right? And it goes to Twitch overall. It's not just to an individual streamer. Right now, or I said before Twitch Turbo, the only way of subscribing in Twitch was to subscribe to an individual channel for $4.99, or in some cases lower, or I guess some cases higher. And that would give you the same benefits as Twitch Turbo, except for just for that channel.
Right.
So this new thing kind of got a lot of people talking. We talked about it a lot last week.
So we just kind of want to give a little bit of an update. I mean, just, not an update on Twitch Turbo, but just kind of on the state of, streamers. I had talked about the fact that they really need to take some time to make sure that the streamers are happy, that they need to work equally as hard to make sure the streamers can get money as much as Twitch TV can get money, because if they're too focused on themselves and they take the money away from the streamers, this is a problem. And just recently someone who streams League of Legends, right? Or is it StarCraft that he streams?
Yeah, I think it was StarCraft. It was definitely StarCraft.
Okay.
So I'm trolling around in the old Reddits. I go on there a lot in various gaming Reddits, subreddits. And I came across this guy who was bemoaning the fact that he had been streaming for 8 hours on one day, and how he showed 47 ads to a maximum of 300 viewers, and how he got, for his troubles, $5.50.
For 8 hours.
For 8 hours, yeah. And he was just upset with this.
Right.
Right. That's not any kind of a money. You can't make... It's hard to live on that per hour. I mean, that's below minimum wage in the U.S.
By far, way lower than minimum wage.
And it's tough to live on that. So, if this is... It's not a career.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
What he's doing. He would like it to be. But it's definitely not. So, I looked into the numbers a little bit, and, just kind of fudged some of them. Maybe the average viewers weren't 300, but 200. I don't know.
Right.
For that period of time. And he showed 47 ads to them, so that's... Actually, you know what? Let me go into a quick explanation of my understanding of how Twitch pays people out. So when you show an ad as the streamer, you create put the potential of ad impressions, and you get paid by the ad impression. And for every 1,000 ad impressions, you get a certain number of dollars. And I've seen that. I think Twitch put out a press release that there's the base now of $3.50. Okay. I feel like that was a year ago even. It's been like that for a long time. So $3.50 is kind of the minimum per 1,000 if you're a partner. But that only applies to people who actually see ads. Not everybody sees an ad. Some people use ad block. Some kinds of viewers, some kinds of players don't show an ad at all. So if you're watching on the Android app, you don't see ads, right? So it really, it's only a few different kinds of ways of watching it, but those tend to be the main ways of watching it. On your computer, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's how you get paid. say that that when you run an ad, there's 1,000 people in there, and so that means you create not 1,000 ad impressions. You could be paid for all 1,000 of those if they were all to see ads, but they're not all going to see ads. Like I said, a couple of ways: ad block, certain players not seeing it. But the other way is if Twitch doesn't sell enough ad space. So Twitch has to actively sell ad space. That's how this thing works. They have to get ads from companies that are going to say, you know, I'll pay for 5,000 ad impressions during this month. If you run out of those 5,000, you don't have any more from that company to show.
Right.
And, you know, there's a seasonal thing to this. During the holiday season, of course, ads are worth a little bit more. During the downtime, the not holiday season, they're worth a little less. And now is one of the times where it's worth a little less. So there are these ways for you to not get ad impressions. Twitch doesn't sell enough ads. Ad block the players that don't show ads.
Right.
So I was going over this dude's 9,400 potential ad impressions of 47 commercials to an average of 200 per time. It's a lot of potential. If he had been paid $3.50 for each of those, he would have gotten $32.90 from running ads, rather than the $5.50 he did. So I don't know how many people on his channel were watching on a player that doesn't use ads. I don't know how many people were using ad block. But if it was half, if it was 50%,
right.
What I figured out was that the fill rate was going to be just 25%.
Right, so...
And just to say, they're only selling enough ad space to show it to 25% of the people who watched his stream. That is so low. It's crazy low.
Yeah, and now what they're doing is, like I said, now that's how it ties all into the Twitch Turbo stuff. Streamers are not making any money. Streamers are going to be unhappy. They're going to start moaning about stuff. And, you know, that's the problem, is you get these guys unhappy, it's going to spread. You know, it's like a disease in a way. When you complain about it, someone else is going to complain about it, and then someone else is going to complain about it, and it's just going to grow into this huge thing. And then rather than Twitch TV seeming like the premier place to stream, now you just get a bunch of people to complain, right? I mean, what happened to that one guy who was on Owned, right? He complained about it really badly. He wasn't getting paid or whatever like that. Yeah, and then now Owned is down, right? I'm not saying that that's what caused it, you know, but it's a sign that this is not a good situation, right?
Yeah.
So if you have people bemoaning, you know, the ad impressions and stuff like that, it's just not a good sign.
Yeah, and I want to leave open the possibility that my math is wrong. Let's say I'm 100% off. Let's say I underestimated it by half. That means that the ad fill rate is 50%. Or let's say I got it way wrong and the fill rate is 75%. That's still not that much.
Right,
like you have this whole. So,
I mean, they even got the partnership with CBS Interactive, right? Like that was supposed to help start filling up. I don't know the details. I don't
either, of course.
Right.
But
and the fray was canceled last week, so Fish Sticks was not able to get onto that show. So,
okay. I
yeah,
didn't know.
so hopefully this week he'll get on and they'll be able to resume that.
Yeah. So I mean, all I want. I wanted to talk about this because I thought that it tied in with the Turbo subscription in an interesting way. Right. If in fact they are having trouble selling these ads, then maybe one way for them to make money is this subscription thing. Mm-hmm. You know, for them to get a direct $9 every month rather than splitting $5 with streamers as the channel subscription goes.
See, I just think that's a problem because you're taking the money away from them. But of course, if Twitch doesn't make money, then Twitch just goes away. I don't know. It's a really nasty dance. So
I mean, I hope that they do better. I don't want Twitch to go down. We said this last week, right? All we're trying to do is give constructive criticism, right? We want them to do well. Not just so that we can make our massive millions of dollars per month. Millions of dollars. No. Millions of Zimbabwean dollars. Yeah.
1 million.
Anyways. It could be $1 trillion Zimbabwean dollars. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not just because of that. It's because we want this whole thing to succeed. You know, we want competitive gaming to do well. We want people to have the ability to make their career as a streamer, whether it's somebody who does tournaments like Spooky or Level Up, or whether it's somebody who just does it from their home.
Right.
Either way, it's a good kind of thing. It's good for those people. It's great to watch it. You know, I mean, I watch it just a ton of hours when I'm not doing the streaming. I'm like always on a stream, it seems. Just stream monstering it up. So that's stuff that I really want to see do well.
Yep. But let's take another quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna have a little fun announcement for everybody. So stick around, guys. We have just a little bit more to do before we're done for today. All right, be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Long time ago, we had planned to do giveaways, and we never managed to give anything away.
No.
And so Kelly here has, aka AI Coon, has decided to help us. She went and picked a bunch of the people to receive prizes. We had these awesome hats here, Skullgirls hats, drawn from the original Skullgirls artists here. And so the nice thing about it is, honestly, and I think in one of these is not a squiggly hat, is it? No, it wasn't.
There's like a double.
It's a double. This is Sarabella, and that's Philia right there.
Oh, that's Philia's like dude. Yeah. It's her hair.
Yeah, and it's signed by Mike Z, David, and myself. So we're giving these away, and basically we never gave them away properly, and Kelly picked names out for us. So we're gonna draw names to win these prizes. And the winner of it gets the first winner gets to pick a hat, any of the three, and then the second
one gets the next choice. Third one will get the next choice, and then the fourth winner gets a Persona 4 T-shirt that you guys have had forever, I guess.
Yep, and I've had this Persona 4 T-shirt that I have wanted to give away, and we did not.
And it's upside down.
Yeah, there you go. So.
Also, right after we give these away, we're going to be choosing winners from the stream chat to receive a copy of Pizzazz and then 2 Pizzazz t-shirts.
That's right. So we're doing a bunch of giveaways right now. So the Teddy shirt is a large shirt, I believe. Yes. And the 2 Pizzazz shirts are both large as well. Mm-hmm. So who was our first winner of a Persona hat? I'm sorry, not a Skullgirls hat. I'm thinking of Persona right now.
Is this guy.
Sadie Loves You. Okay, so we will tweet Sadie Loves You, and they get to pick. And of course, if they don't respond in a given amount of time, we'll re-pick them, right? Mm-hmm. So who won the second hat?
The second hat
is Broly Legs. Staged. Congratulations to Broly Legs for getting a second hat. And, okay. So, the third one, who's the third winner?
Who gets the last pick?
Who gets the last hat left? He doesn't even get to pick, because he just gets the last hat.
He just gets the,
too bad.
The scraps.
It's Azor MX. So, congratulations to you three. You guys have won yourselves some cool, authentic, drawn by the actual artists, Skullgirls party hats. So now, who gets the Teddy shirt?
The Teddy shirt goes to
Polarius1. Nice. Okay, so we are going to tweet all of these guys, and they'll have about a week to collect their prizes. Mm-hmm. If they don't, then next week we'll draw some more names. But we are not done yet. We have a couple more giveaways to go.
And I'm going to be picking these out of the stream viewers, I guess. So what actually, we didn't talk about what order you want to do these in.
Oh, we're going to do 2 shirts and then the grand prize.
Okay,
yes.
So the first winner of a shirt is Grim FW
Grim Fuendango.
Yeah, Grim Fuendango.
So Grim Fuendango, please send us an email at ultrachentv@gmail.com or tweet us, and then you will get that shirt. Wow, nice. Okay, and so we're going to get another person who is in the stream here.
Rolling it again. Oops, that's not how you roll again.
Yeah, that would be it.
Mystic Folks.
Mystic Folks, you have now won this shirt here. Again, please send us an email at ultrachentv@gmail.com. Let us know that is you, or tweet us. Either way, and of course you can tweet us at UltraChenTV as well. And so now, finally, we have ta-da, a brand new copy, still sealed, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
And that goes to One Man Genocide.
One Man Genocide has won PlayStation All-Stars. Again, please send us an email or send us a private message on Twitch as well. Actually, send us a message on Twitch and then also send us an email, ultrachentv@gmail.com. So those are the prizes there. Please send us a note. And again, we give everyone a week to collect their prizes. If they don't collect their prizes, then we redraw, and it's too bad. So there you go. All right, guys. Again, we're running a little over. We want to get to Round Tuesday. And so please go to youtube.com/thestream.tv to go and watch some Cross Counter live. I believe Eris is on there right now. Let's go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And, of course, watch the show that sucks after that. So thanks, everybody. Bye.